Hello children, now let's start solving the grammar exercises given in your course book. Page number 61 of your course book, that is Literature Reader textbook. Please open your textbook to the page number 61. So let's begin. Page number 61. Let's use grammar. Past perfect tense, the rules. First of all, we know that past perfect tense is formed by adding had plus the past participle, had which is the auxiliary verb, and the past participle of the base form of the verb. So now the first one, we refer to the actions in the past. That is called as a simple past tense. Children, do watch the video before solving this exercise and the remaining two. That is, it's about the past tense. Past tense, which includes simple past and past perfect tense. The grammar exercises, before solving them, you have to watch the video. You will understand it better and then you can solve it easily. Past perfect tense. Just look at these sentences. Just about 2 years earlier, I had met him when both of us were working at the Royal Observatory. By the time Ritu and Nandini joined the ISRO, Anuradha had already joined the organization. This is the past perfect tense. We form the past perfect tense with had plus the past participle. Examples: met, joined, gone, left, written, etc. Sometimes we talk about something that happened in the past. Ritu and Nandini reached their office. We use the past perfect to say that something had already happened before this time. When Ritu and Nandini reached their office, Anuradha had already arrived. Here are more examples. When we got to the airport, the plane had not yet landed. The Smiths came to India because they had heard so much about our country. The past perfect is the past of the present perfect. Compare these situations. Present perfect. Bose is not hungry. He has just had dinner. Past perfect. Bose was not hungry. He had just had dinner. We use the past perfect to refer to an action completed by a certain point of time in the past. By lunch, India had already scored 140 runs. At the age of 48, she had already become a grandmother. So, the present perfect tense have eaten. The past perfect tense had eaten, remember. So, if it is singular, he has eaten. If it is plural, they have eaten. But for the past perfect tense, we use for singular, he had eaten. For plural, they had eaten. We use the past perfect when we talk about something that happened in the past. Example, now when you have your friends and you told them to reach at a particular place, Ritu, Sanjana and Riya, two of them reached and found the third already present over there. So as we find the third one already present, so we say she had already arrived at that place. So here the past perfect is used to talk about the event that had already happened before the past time. The next rule. The past perfect is the past of the present perfect. In the present perfect, we use has if it is singular, he has completed. If it is plural, they have completed. the example from your textbook. Bose is not hungry. He has just had dinner. So has is the auxiliary verb here and had is acting as the main verb over here. So it is he has just had dinner. And if it is in the past perfect tense, Bose was not hungry. He had just had dinner. We are using two hads here. One is the auxiliary and the other one is the main verb. So this is the next rule. So the third rule, we use past perfect to refer to an action completed by a certain point of the time in the past. Example, now when we talk about time, example in the afternoon. So by afternoon, India had already scored 140 runs. So by this time in the afternoon, already India had scored. So it is the past perfect which has already happened, completed action by afternoon, by a certain period of time in the past. So this exercise which we have to solve is related to the following rules which we have to follow in solving this exercise. The first, which I told you, we talk about something which happened in the past, simple past, and before that the past perfect is used. Then there are two events which happened earlier is the past perfect. The second one, it is the past of the present perfect. Like the present perfect we use has and have plus the past participle. Over the first example which I told you, has had dinner, auxiliary verb and the main verb is used. In the past perfect we use had plus past participle. So over here the first word is example which I told you about, Bose was not hungry, he had just had his dinner. Had, auxiliary verb, and the other had is acting as the main verb. So remember, has and have in the present perfect, had in the past perfect. The next rule, it is also referring to an action which was completed by a certain period of time. Before that time in the past, that action is completed. That is in the afternoon. Example, as I told you, before the afternoon, the action was completed. By lunch, India already had scored those many runs. So at a certain period of time in the afternoon, before the afternoon, India already had scored. So in the past, remember. The exercise which you have to complete using these rules. The next exercise is about a situation we have to study, and accordingly we have to fill in or tick the right answer. And over here there are the verbs which are in the first form. So it is an interrogative sentences. Watch the video, accordingly answer those questions. The next exercise, page number 64, past and past perfect. The rule over here is when there is simple past and the past perfect together used, we use the past perfect to denote or show the action which already happened earlier, that is prior to the past. That is, example, Kanan went to the library as soon as it opened. He had chosen a quiet time. So he had chosen a quiet time. He then went to the library. So here the action is simple past, that is went. Had chosen a quiet time. It happened earlier. The action happened earlier. That is, he had already chosen the time and then he went to the library. So the same way we have to fill in the blanks with the past perfect or simple past according to the events which happened in the simple past or the past perfect. Remember, the past perfect is the earlier past of the simple past. Now let's begin with the solving of the exercise. Complete each of the following using the words given in the brackets. Example, we were very happy to meet our grandmother again after such a long time. So we had not seen her for 7 years. It is given in the bracket but not completely. We not see her for 7 years is given. So we are going to form it in the past perfect, had not seen. The second, that is the first one now. My sister wasn't at home when I arrived. She just go out. So it's going to be she had just gone out. The second sentence, the man was a complete stranger to us. The answer is we had never seen him before. The third one, Mrs. Jane no longer had her car. In the bracket it is given she just sell it. So remember, sell is a verb 1. So you're going to put a verb, helping verb there. She had just sold it. The first one also, remember, go is in the verb 1. So go, went, then gone. Past participle is used there. So it is had gone. The second sentence, see is in the verb 1. So you're going to write here along with a never negative word. So had, helping verb, never, as it is already given in the bracket, we plus helping verb had plus never plus verb 3, that is the past participle, seen. See, saw, seen. Past participle is seen. Then the remaining part of the sentence, that is him before. Next, fourth one. My neighbor invited me to lunch yesterday, but I couldn't go. In the bracket, I already arranged to go out with my parents. So the subject is I, had already arranged, had already is given there. We are going to use the same word over there, already. Arrange is the verb 1, so you are going to use the past participle form. Arranged to go out with my parents. Fifth, we weren't playing when Mrs. Dixit came to see us. We just finished our match. So it's going to be the subject we plus the helping verb had. We had, then just is already given there, just. Then finish is the verb 1. You're going to use the past participle form, verb 3, finished our match. The answer is we had just finished our match. Now study each situation below and then take the right answer. The launch had ended, so they left the ISRO lab. When we have to form an interrogative sentence, a few examples given over here. Study each situation below and then take the right answer. In this exercise, you will come to know better. The launch had ended, so they left the ISRO lab. Did they leave the lab after the launch ended? Is the right answer. Satish rushed to the station, but the train had already left. Did Satish reach the station after the train left? So the verb 2 is used here, left. Rita had seen the first Harry Potter film, so she read the book. Did Rita first see the film? The exam papers had been checked, so the board printed them. Did the board print the papers after the papers were checked? The restaurant delivered the food. I had already paid for it. Which happened first? The payment. So remember, in a sentence there is past perfect given, then we have to write the simple past. The simple past is given, then the past perfect is written. The exercise page number 63 is completed. Now 64 page number exercise. Past and past perfect. When we use the past simple, that is simple past, and the past perfect together, we use the latter for what happened earlier. Kanan went to the library as soon as it opened. He had chosen a quiet time. This means that Kanan chose the time before he entered the library. Quiet time he had chosen and then he entered the library. Fill in the blanks using either the past perfect or the past simple form of the verb given in the brackets. After driving down the road for an hour, the Nagpals discovered that they had taken the wrong route. First sentence, the thief, you're going to use the simple past, refused to admit that he had stolen the money. Second sentence, I kept looking at her, wondering where I had seen her before. Third, the house was very quiet when I got home. Everybody had gone to bed. So here in these three sentences, we just now observed that the verbs are given in brackets. We are converting them according to the incidents happened in the first one. Refuse, the simple past is refused. Steal, you're converting into past perfect, that is had stolen. Keep, the verb 1 kept. See, had seen, past perfect. Get, got. Go, gone. Past perfect form of go is had gone. The fourth sentence. There was a bus by the side of the highway. It, break is the verb. Change into the past perfect, had broken down and the driver was trying to repair it. So we stopped. Change into the verb, that is past verb. Stopped to see if we could help. We parked our car at a place where there was a no parking sign and ran to buy some postcards. When we returned a few minutes later, we found that the car was not there anymore. We wondered if somebody had stolen it or if the police had taken it away. These are the answers for the exercise there. Next page, page number 65. Let's enrich our word store. Children, the next exercise, it's about enriching our word store. There are two passages given. The first passage includes set of words which are adjectives, and the second passage includes set which is of verbs. Both the passages have words given on the top, that is in a bracket or in a box. We have to read those words, we have to read the paragraph which is most appropriate for the blank. We should fill it in the blank. So now let's begin. Here are two short passages on Stephen Hawking. Fill in the blanks in each passage using the words given for each one. You will notice that the first set of words is adjectives and the second set of words is verbs. So I will be reading the passage. You have to fill in the blanks with the right word. When the name Hawking is mentioned, the portrait that comes to mind is that of a warm person, keen and willing to discuss ideas with fellow scientists and communicate his thoughts to a wider audience. The only time the legendary scientist visited India was in January 2001 during the Strings Conference. At the start of one of the sessions, he began by asking the large audience, "You may wonder how I feel about myself and how I view myself." He then went on to say that he had successfully faced the most serious challenges which confronted him. The second paragraph. Hawking was an extraordinary person. He traveled the earth to scientific conferences and visited every continent including Antarctica. He wrote best-selling books about his work, married twice and fathered 3 children. He celebrated his 60th birthday by going up in a hot air balloon. The same week, he also crashed his electric-powered wheelchair and broke his leg. The same week, he also crashed his electric-powered wheelchair and broke his leg. In April 2007, a few months after his 65th birthday, he participated in a zero-gravity flight abroad, a padded aircraft that flies, a roller coaster trajectory that's a rocket to produce brief periods of weightlessness. Asked why he took such risks, he said, "I want to show that people need not be limited by physical handicaps as long as they are not disabled in spirit." Let's use the dictionary, the exercise given on page number 66. There is an extract given from the dictionary. Science, the word science is used as noun, adjective, and in different parts of speech. Accordingly, the meaning of the word science used in different parts of speech is given over here. We have to read the meanings given and then fill in the blanks in the following sentences. Page number 66. Here it's an extract from a dictionary given about science terms from the dictionary. You have to read them thoroughly, and which is suitable to fill in the blank, you have to fill it in the blank after reading the text, the extract given from a dictionary. You have to fill in with the right science term from the given extract, from the above extract. Study this extract from a dictionary. Science, which is a noun. The study of and knowledge about the physical world and natural laws. One of the subjects into which science can be divided. Science fair, it's a noun. A competition in which students at a school compete to present the best science project. Science fiction, a noun. Books, films, etc. about events that take place in the future often involving travel, that is in space. Travel in space. Scientific, adjective, connected with or involving science. Used about a way of thinking or of doing something careful and logical. Scientist, noun. A person who studies or teaches science, especially biology, chemistry or physics. Now let's fill in the blanks below with the right science term from the above extract. Modern dash has discovered a lot about how life began on Earth. Modern, you're right, it's science. Many people think that 2001 A Space Odyssey 1968, E.T. the Extraterrestrial 1982 and Star Wars 1977 are the best dash movies. The answer to it is science fiction movies. Stephen Hawking ranks with Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein as that rare dash who brought science close to the people. Rare scientist who brought science close to the people. The government spends a lot of money on dash research, scientific research. Our school won the first prize in the annual dash science fair. Physics is a dash like biology and chemistry. It's a science. Children, now let's begin solving the grammar exercise given in your workbook, page number 31. The importance of science, the use of tenses, past perfect tense and past tense. Page number 31. We have to rewrite the sentences with the past perfect form of the verbs which is given in the bracket. The verb is given in the bracket, we have to change and write it in the past perfect form. First sentence, by lunch, Smriti Mandana already scored a century. By lunch, Smriti Mandana had already scored a century. So had plus verb 3, had already scored. Bose wasn't hungry, he just had his breakfast. Bose wasn't hungry, he had just had his breakfast. The past tense of have is had. Lucky Jonathan, the branches of a large fir tree break his fall. So here, had broken his fall. Lucky Jonathan, the branches of a large fir tree had broken his fall. The Smiths came to India because they hear so much about our country. The Smiths came to India because they had heard so much about our country. Had heard. Fifth, before the tiger could attack Kunmar Singh, he had climbed up a tree. The tiger stared at Kunmar Singh and then went back the way it come. It's given, okay? So the tiger stared at Kunmar Singh and then went back the way it had come. Come came come. The businessman was happy because he made a huge profit. The businessman was happy because he had made a huge profit. Had made. Make, made. I kept looking at her, wondering where I see her before, where I had seen her before. So rewrite the sentences with the correct answer. Now in the next part, there are sequence of events. We have to write questions as well as the past perfect tense for these. Example is given in the next page, page number 33. And the situation and the sequence is given of events on the page number 32. Read the page number 32 and solve the exercise given on page number 33. The example is here. What had Ben done before 16.15 hours? He had got into a motorboat. Select the correct form of the verb given in the brackets to form complete sentences. Hema was delighted. She had obtained the latest book by her favorite author. The answer is she had obtained, the past perfect. Ali walked into the station only to find out that the train, the answer is had left. I was just about to leave for office when I remembered my briefcase, simple past. Gitanjali told me that she, past perfect, had got a well-paid job. Murali looked at his watch and began to walk faster, simple past. Words in action. We often use words in a variety of ways. How open is used as a verb is given there. Read that, and then there is a box given with verbs. We have to fill in with the most suitable for the following sentences in the blanks. Traffic in India keeps to the left. The verb keep, give and make is in the box. The first answer is keeps. While mother was away, her sister kept the children amused. Anne Frank kept a diary in which she recorded the atrocities committed by the Germans against Jews. The workers have been given rupees 5,000 as a bonus. Who gave you the right to tell me what to do? The holes in the cardigans were made by moths. I have decided to join the Navy and nothing will make me change my mind. The next page. The train leaves in 20 minutes. I am not sure we can make it to the station in time. You're an hour late. What kept you? So now the next exercise, we have to form a negative statement or an opposite by using the prefixes in or un. Example, active, inactive, kind, unkind. Use in or un to make the opposites of these words. Clean, unclean, educated, uneducated, capable, incapable, civilized, uncivilized, decent, indecent, appropriate, inappropriate. Children, do complete the exercises in your workbook. First you have to try solving the exercises your own, and then you should check the answers to what is given in the videos.
Children, now recheck your answers.